Hello and welcome back to Tommy's Top Picks Weekly Roundup podcast episode 133. I'm your host Tommy, joined by John.
How's it going?
Good. We're back for another podcast. It's been a week. I didn't really pay attention, but we are going to talk about some things.
Yep.
Got a lot of things to talk about. I played a bunch. Did a bunch of limited. So having fun in TCGs can be limited. Limited play. So we talked about, or I played a bunch of Bloomborough on Arena, so I have opinions on that. And then John came over and we did a bunch of Winston. We did it with Murders at Carla Manor. We did it with Phyrexial will be one, and we did it with Neon Dynasty, which was a ton of fun.
Disagree, but hey.
I had fun going too.
I had fun with the other ones.
Yeah.
Neo was not fun for me. I did not enjoy it.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll get into that, and then we're going to talk some Star Wars, going to talk some sorcery, Arthurian legends, and what else did we say we were going to talk about? I think that was it.
Some Star Wars stuff, I guess.
Star Wars, yeah.
Star Wars and collecting.
Yeah. Yep. Cool. So do we want to start with what we played?
Sure.
We also played some Commander.
We did. That's right. I forgot about that because we did Winston on a separate day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did some Commander. That was fun. I played my Gnomes deck again.
It got shut down.
It did.
It was a 4-pod, so his aggro doesn't work in a 4-pod, especially when it's so telegraphed that this commander makes the deck quadruple, gnomes
every
or
time
whatever.
It came out, it was dead.
It was dead immediately.
Yeah.
Need some protection in that deck.
That's true. Well, I have some, but I didn't have it.
Didn't happen. Yeah, that's Magic. That's Commander. That's 4 pods. That's how it goes.
Anim Pakal, 1000th Moon from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. Super fun.
There's white in there. You could do what's those ones where it's like you take no damage and nothing dies?
They're in the deck.
Oh, okay. You got a couple. And then what about like Greaves and the boots, the 2 boots?
Yep, they're in there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Shuffle better. it was digital, so
I did see Rosie again, so that's always a nice thing.
Yeah,
Rosie Cotton of South Lane.
Yeah, I've had one of my decks. I don't remember what, but I specifically went out and got it because it's such a good card.
It is. It's a good card.
Yeah, I played mostly Disa, and I did try an Azalek that was not mine. So I didn't play it very well, but it had some cool combos in it. It was more like not so much on the style of the what are they called? The Ulamogs, the monsters. What are they? Eldrazi. That's the word I'm looking for. Yeah. It wasn't so Eldrazi. It was mostly like colorful cards of so it felt a little bit like five color good stuff, but not quite. I guess I don't know. I didn't like it. Is what it boils down to. I kind of like my style. I'd rather do my Token Storm little scions and stuff and play along that line and maybe adjust my deck a little bit. But this one, I was trying to get some inspiration on other builds, and I was not inspired.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that's why I was like, it's TTS. Let's try this and see if I like anything about this, and if I do, then I'll like mess around with it more. But I really didn't like the style. I felt like too forced, like just trying to be the best deck at the table. I don't like doing that. That's not my MO. I like theme. Theme is where I'm at. So that probably won't do anything. But then I played a bunch of Disa and realized that I need to once again rework that deck. I thought it was in a good spot, and it did do some things, and I did win one after you dropped off, I think, right? You weren't there when I won.
I only did the first game.
Okay, yeah. So I did win with Disa once, which was cool, but it was mostly a win by default because I just was like quietly building my position, and everyone kept fighting each other and getting in each other's face. But what I realized in the last matchup, one of our players, the infamous arch enemy always, he built a stacks deck with enchantments, and no one had removal at all. So we ended up, the whole game basically froze up to where the 3 of us could kill each other, but we couldn't do anything to him. He was giving people cards every turn, which is how he got so far advanced because no one really wanted to bother him because he kept giving everyone cards.
Right.
Good plan. But then once he stacked up, it was impossible to even swing at him. It basically cost like 5 per creature or something like that. And he created treasure or something every time he did something. I don't know. It was just so in his favor. So we all scooped because it was like, well, we don't want to kill each other, and we also can't kill him, so we're done. Yeah. Game ends. That's what happens when you build stacks. It's funny too. I almost built a deck like that to counteract his complaint about counter spells and be like, fine, I won't counter. I'll just make it so you can't do anything to me. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Just to show that there's other annoying ways to play besides counterspell, but he eventually did get over the counterspell thing.
That's good.
He has said, and he has played a few counterspells himself, which is pretty funny.
It's just part of Magic.
He's learning blue. Yeah. The thing is, I was like, oh, so you're playing blue now? He's like, yeah, their creatures are weak. I'm like, yeah, that's the balance to the fact that they have the most powerful removal is they have the weakest creatures. Like, that's how it's designed. So, anyways, he's
light bulb moments.
Yeah, I know. I think he's starting to realize it's like, oh, blue isn't unfair. It just has some strengths, just like other colors have other strengths, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, good stuff, though. Pretty fun games overall. And his bunny commander was huge by the end because he was playing the bunny lady, Mrs. Bloomsworth or something like that. And it was out of control. It was just insane. So, fun times.
Yeah.
All right. What did we play in Winston?
We started with Neon Dynasty. That was one you didn't like.
Yeah, I blocked that out. I honestly don't even remember what I tried to play. I think I did 3-color there too, didn't I?
We each did 3-color, yeah.
Yeah. It was a pile of nonsense. I couldn't figure out what I was doing, and I don't know Neon cards very well, so I was just kind of a little bit of a mess all over the place.
Yeah. I also got lucky with the removal in that. In both
you did
sets.
Prioritize removal a lot. Yeah. I noticed that, and I was kind of not focusing on it much, and as a result, I wasn't really in a position to deal with a lot of board state stuff. Same with the 3-player game we did. It also didn't prioritize that. Yeah. I really wanted creatures because I like playing creatures.
It's a balance because you need creatures.
You do.
But at the same time,
if you don't get enough creatures, you are useless. Like,
correct.
You literally can't win. Correct. Removal doesn't win you a game.
No.
Creatures do.
No.
It worked with Phyrexia because in that one,
it's so
was
fast.
Mostly black-white, and my focus was toxic, like trying to make toxic happen. Unfortunately, the first game, it came out, I did the thing. Toxic, proliferate, you died.
Yeah.
The second and third round, I didn't see like any of my toxic stuff until the end. And it was like, oh crap. I kept getting the 4 Mirrodon kind of like filler. Filler creatures or whatever. And I was like, they're fine. They're white creatures I can play, and they make, bodies on the board sort of thing.
And they leave a weapon behind.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not terrible, but at the same time, that was not the game plan. And having, you only have so many turns in Winston. So, if you miss the theme going into round 5, it's probably too late.
Yeah.
So, then we played with your wife.
Yeah, and then we did a 3-player Winston Endgame, which she won. She won the first, and then I won the second. Those were fun. I don't know. Murders is growing on me. Like, it's a fine limited set. It's not my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, I think out of the ones...
It's exactly that.
Yeah. I think out of the 3 we played yesterday, Neon Dynasty is still my favorite. And then Murders, and then Phyrexia.
I should actually spend some time looking at the Neon cards, because I literally don't know them at all.
There's a lot of power in that set.
There is, but you need to know how the heck this stuff works together. So.
Yeah, for sure. And there's some just like, the best thing to do is just to kind of look up if you're trying to learn a limited set, one of the things to look up in keywords to search is signpost. So you look for the signpost uncommons. Sometimes they're commons, but usually they're uncommons in a set. And they're kind of just like, this is what your colors do. Like, it's instead of drafting around a rare, you draft around one of those signpost uncommons.
Yeah, I noticed you said something about that during. You're like, yeah, I got this thing and built around it or whatever. I was like, oh, interesting. He's like building around the rarity only and not mythics, obviously.
No, mythics
Which
most
is
of the
what made
time.
it
Yeah.
like, whoa, okay, interesting way to chase down a draft. Usually, I just memorize the set before I play because that's the easier way to do it
Sure.
for me.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I definitely
signpost
go
sounds good.
through, like, before I dived into Bloomburrow, I just went to Scryfall and read every single card.
Yeah, yeah. Then you have an idea, like, okay, these are the things that work good. Here's the things that will work across multiple, archetypes you're trying to chase or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. But then finding which the signposts are, because in Bloomburrow it's very easy to tell because they're all animal based. But it can be a little harder it's a little more foggy in other sets. But once you know exactly what the signposts are, you know exactly how to build each color pair.
What's the signposts in Neon? You don't know? You just
I don't know
crushed
their
everyone with.
name. I don't know their
What?
name. Um, so like black white is Naomi Pillar of Order.
Well, that's useless information. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay, so the Jukai not naturalist, right?
Yes,
That's the
the
green.
green white
That's a green white.
enchantments are
Yeah,
cheaper.
yeah. You build around that.
Okay, yeah, that's an obvious one, and I actually know that one because I use that in my Enchantress
Yeah.
deck.
So they
Like
are also
everyone knows.
typically the cards that work their way into commander synergies because their synergy is that strong.
Got it. Got it. Okay.
And sometimes they're like.
So signpost is a particular card.
Yes.
Is that how?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
see. I see. I
It
see.
is a
I thought you were talking
signpost
about it was like
card.
a mechanic or a thing that's like build around this mechanic.
That card has that
Has the
mechanic.
mechanic that says build this thing. Got it.
Yeah. So like white blue was vehicles, blue black was ninja and rogue,
Yeah, ninja. I saw that.
ninjutsu. Black red is sacrifice and artifacts. So if you are splashing colors, maybe just make sure that they are also doing that thing.
Yeah.
Modifications is red green. Green white is, like we said, enchantments matter. White black is artifacts and enchantments. Blue red is artifacts matter. Black green is graveyard matters. Green white is also samurai and warriors, so you can build it that way. So there's two. Sometimes
I was trying to do the samurai
yeah,
warrior and then ended up getting pulled in a different color because I couldn't get the cards I was trying to get or whatever.
yeah,
And that's where I got screwed up on that one. And it just did not work. They were like very not together color triplet.
yeah. So sometimes sets can even. That's what makes some sets a little more confusing is that there can be multiple signposts in the same color pairings, and you can just build those colors a different way.
Yeah. It was fine. I'll learn it. I don't
Yeah.
care. I like going in blind, not knowing what I'm gonna get into. Like I'm gonna have a bad time playing Bloomburrow with you. I know it. I've been playing the shit out of it, and I do want to play it, but it's like this is one where it's like, okay, we gotta bring your wife into it
Yeah,
because
yeah.
that will make it at least a little more interesting. Because otherwise,
And
you're
then you
just gonna
guys can just
crush me.
target me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. You're just gonna crush me otherwise.
Although that's a perfect segue into Bloomburrow because
Yeah.
that may not be the case. Bloomburrow
Why?
is an easy to draft set, but it is a very hard on the play has an advantage set.
What does that mean?
So, typically limits played best out of 3. And so whoever goes first, whoever wins to go first has a significantly higher chance of winning the whole thing because you win game 1 on the play and then your opponent who lost gets the on the play. And then even if you lose that one, you have the third game on the play.
All right. Makes sense. So why is that different in Bloomburrow?
Because if you both get a curve, say you both have like your perfect curve, right?
Mm-hmm.
The odds of the player going first winning is higher than average than a typical set.
Oh, so it's more of that, not less of that.
Yes.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
I misunderstood. I thought you were saying it was less like that for Bloomberg. Okay, yeah, that makes
It is
sense.
more like
Yeah,
yeah.
it makes more like that because the synergies are way stronger in this set.
Yeah. So
Probably.
you basically
Yeah.
you
It's a
Matt.
lot easier to have synergistic reactions. Therefore, having that first advantage, mover advantage, is just that much more powerful.
Right. Right.
Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
Especially if you were in a clean. Basically, if you figure out by the end of pack, like halfway through pack one, what uh, what is open, and it's very easy to tell in Bloomberg because of the how
Animals.
animals.
Yeah.
So you just take a look and what's the chunk in the back half of the pack, right? And then if you pivot there, or it's maybe you got lucky and it's just the one that you picked from the beginning, which is
Well,
even
that
better.
won't work in Winston though.
No, it won't.
Yeah, I was going to say because you don't because the packs get all shuffled together
Yeah, but I'm just talking in
in general.
general.
Gotta.
So it may be different in Winston. That might
Yeah,
be.
that would be interesting to see. I
Yeah.
mean, you do get a sense of what's going on though. It's not like you're completely blind over
Yeah.
the course of
Right.
Winston. You do have a sense of like, okay, I'm able to pull this mechanic every time.
Okay.
I'm
So
not
yeah,
able to pull that.
in Winston views, so like if you're getting to be a third of the way through the pile, so that's pack one, right?
No.
It'd be technically pack two, but pack one
Yeah.
for two people.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yep.
It's the same distance
Yeah.
into the draft.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see what are being left in piles.
Yep.
Like, oh, here's a
Yep.
pile
Yeah.
of
Whenever there's a
raccoons.
big pile and
Yeah.
there's a lot of rats in there or
Yeah.
whatever.
Like,
you know
obviously,
rats are
no
open.
one's. Like, if that didn't tempt someone, they're not going that way.
That's why I do my ninja drafting skills that confuse the hell out of you. I just pick
And
random shit, see what I get at the end.
also, there's more uncommons than rares, so that's why the signposts typically tend to be uncommon, because you're more likely to have multiples of that uncommon in a draft deck than you are to have multiple rares. Way more likely.
Yeah, makes sense.
So that's why you build around those, because you know you're going to have synergy with them. And because you have a limited card pool, you need each card to pull its weight as much as you can. Because just because a card's good doesn't mean it'll generate the same amount of value.
Right. So I have a question related to Bloomberg, and I'm looking at the TCG player site, and there's this thing called Pinfinity Friday Night Magic something or another. What the hell is this? Okay, you don't know. My question, I was going to ask you, do you know what the heck this is?
Send me I'm not. It doesn't sound familiar.
It is maybe a like pin club thing for Bloomberg. Collectible pin. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Wait, what? Whoa, what? Evolving the world of collecting by combining augmented reality experiences with with pins. Partner with major studios, game companies, comic publishers, and personalities. Develop licensed and exclusive drops powered by augmented reality in a free app. You can play videos, play audio tracks, get downloadable content, links to websites, and selfies. What the heck?
What is this? Why?
When did this happen, and how come I've never heard of this before? Leave a comment if you have a clue what this is. This is nuts. You know what this is? It's for the kids.
Oh, sure.
It's to get the kids in, and with all this additional content on the screens. That's nuts. Well, it's out of stock on TCG Player, but that could be... I honestly don't know. This one's a mystery to me. Anyways, so that's the thing.
I guess so. It's a FNM kit.
Yeah, Friday Night Magic. Yeah. Maybe it's part of the win. Like they're trying to push it out that way. It does seem like a promo product, like a product that has a lot of promotional value.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird.
They've done it before. There's other ones. Hollow dogs.
That are also pins. The Pinfinity
Magic. Yeah.
Huh. Never heard of that.
They're at Walmart.
Oh, I have heard about these products. I didn't realize they were pin club thing. Yes, the Walmart products. They talked about that actually for the beginning of the year. So this has been going on for a minute.
It's not cards. We don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah. And it's the Walmart product line, right?
Yeah.
So it's like not even in the local shops that we would go to, I'm
Right.
guessing.
Right.
Although Friday Night Magic is in the local shop, so that's confusing.
That's weird branding.
That is weird branding. Whatever. Anyways, so what I did want to talk about, and the reason I came to this page before I noticed that, was the prices of the play boxes.
Yeah, they're holding up.
Yeah, because we talked about this, and it feels like there's two sides to this story, and I'm not really sure how it lands. I don't know how you feel about it, but so there was a big sale. They did TCG player sale, 127 plus tax and shipping, I'm sure. And we saw the price come down as a pre-sale, like average, pre-order average down to the 130 range. At release, it looks like it spiked up to the 150 time frame or price range, and it's now drifting down, right? Like it does post-release. So, but it is still at 146, so it's holding up to this. My vote is still it's gonna float in the 130 range, maybe get probably a little bit lower. And then like 6 months from now, yeah, sure, maybe we have some periods where it hits like 115 or something for short periods, but I don't think it's gonna go as low as like your murders did, right?
No, I'm just thinking on like probably not as low as murders.
Just from the cuteness factor, I'm assuming it's going to be a fun play experience. If it's not, I mean, you seem to sound like it's fun.
It's fun the first couple times. It's starting to get samey.
Right, well, that's all draft.
Yeah.
What's a set that hasn't done that in the past?
I drafted MH3 longer and had more fun.
No, you hated MH3 in the first week. You're like, it's just big bombs.
It's just been the first week for Bloomberg. We're in that same period. And I'm feeling positive about I would Okay. let me
You're trying to decide how to say what you want to say.
Yeah. Because it's not really fair to compare against MH3 because it's not a standard set.
It's not even a standard set, yeah. It's true.
If I was offered to choose Bloombro or Outlaws, I'd draft Outlaws.
Okay.
But that may just because I drafted Bloombro all week.
Could be. Yeah. And I mean, Outlaws does have the more power cards. That's ultimately, so my next statement after saying, okay, not murders, right? Not as low as murders, is I don't think it will hold up as high as Outlaws, right?
Right.
Just because there is more useful cards in Outlaws than there is going to be in Bloom.
Right.
I think.
And we're also probably in the window where stores got their initial pre-order stuff. They sold it, and they have some boxes left over, but the demand is high, so they're selling them for a premium. And then they put in a reorder. When that reorder comes in, what do the prices do? Because they're still available.
Definitely did not. No, I don't think they are.
Play boxes aren't available?
It is gone right now.
It'll be back in a week or two.
Yeah, it will be. I agree with that completely. But they are not. I just went to check because last week the play boxes were there, but they were the only thing there. Maybe last week or week before, whatever it was, that first and second wave had already disappeared. Because, Bloomberg, there's been a lot of hype around this set all year.
And this is exactly what Outlaws did too. And then Outlaws came back.
No, because I mentioned that specifically. Oh. Outlaws never lost play boxes, not once.
Oh, okay.
That was what was surprising this time. I was like, oh no, did they underprint for how much demand there is? Yeah. Outlaws play always available. The other stuff did disappear and then come back. And as of right now, Outlaws collectors back. Everything's back, right? Yeah. And right now, Bloom is gone. But again, release week. That's normal. Having things gone around release week. Play boxes, unusual, but not completely unusual considering how much hype was for this set. But the collector box selling out the second wave before pre-release, that was weird too. Because usually the second wave stays through release. It did not. So I imagine the collector boxes are going to hold up pretty well. They probably have all the cutest cards.
They do. They're the only way you can get borderless or raised foils or anything that's not.
Yeah. So all the collectible cutesiness. Yeah, exactly. That's
because the most expensive card you can pull from the play box is $20.
Oh yeah, I mean that is Magic.
Yeah.
Going forward, I've been saying this for a while. It's like if you want cards that will hold up, get your
Get your collectors.
get your collector boxes.
Now, especially since the set boxes are gone.
Yeah, exactly. If you want a bunch of cards, get a play box, and you'll have, bulk, which is fine if you just want the theme or the type of card.
You want to play the game.
Yeah, exactly. But that's why I like collector boxes now, and I'm more like, I don't really want to buy and open play boxes because I don't want all that bulk. I want the special and pretty cards, and that's about all I care about. And if I get some good stuff, great. If I don't get, something, then I'll buy the single, right? Yeah. It's kind of like my way of optimizing my use of space, not my money. Yeah. Not money. It's not optimizing on money. Yeah. Just buy the singles for optimizing on money, but it's optimizing on space. Still having a random experience. Still getting like, ooh, this is a cool card. I'm going to build a deck around it. That's what I like for opening. It's like being inspired by something random.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
That's like my entire purpose for opening anything is like, let me see what I can pull that makes me excited to build a new deck,
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I do it. But this is different. There's nothing available at distro right now in Bloomburrow. In prime distros. So the secondary distros that cost more all have product, but they always do. Yeah. They never run out, I swear.
Yeah, it's not like product's gone.
No. Yeah, and it will be back, guys. Like, this is not a panic. This is release
standard
week.
Set. There's no serialized.
It's standard, right? It will be back. We promise. Yeah. And prices will go down.
Mm-hmm.
Always happens. Cool. Yeah. So probably above MKM, below OTJ. That's my guess where this lands over the course.
Mm-hmm.
Because it still does have strong tribal, and rats alone have been the hottest tribal for the longest time since Neo, I think, actually.
I believe it. They're good.
And like obviously now that there's support for otters and rabbits and all this other stuff, people are going to make new decks every time there's a new freaking otter or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Birds being a tribal is ridiculous, but whatever. I guess no more ridiculous than frogs, and I like the frogs.
That's true. The frogs are... Green-blue is pretty bad in Bloomburrow.
Don't care. Frogs are awesome.
But...
Especially frog wizards.
That being said, I have lost to
Green-blue is terrible, and it beat my ass.
Well, it's not great. It's kind of... If anyone else is in that lane, it's bad. Sure, if you are alone in that lane.
But that's true of anything.
Yeah. No, not...
If you're alone in a lane in a draft setting, you usually come out more powerful.
Yeah.
Because that means everything else is being fought over,
That's true.
So you're diluted. I mean, I guess it depends on the size of the pod and stuff like that, but
yeah.
Squirrels. That's the other one that's super popular and has been since like MH2, I think. Maybe even before. I don't know. I knew about it at MH2 because it's about the time I started like actually opening boxes and stuff.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm having fun with it, but I don't know. It's a little too... I think my biggest gripe is that just you're at a significant disadvantage if you lose a coin toss at the beginning of going first or second.
Get good
at the coin toss.
That's right. Work on that luck stat.
It's true. I do need to. We also got a bunch of new information about foundations.
Oh yeah, what was that? I think I missed it.
Going to release November 15th, and it has 3 set symbols. So just the regular set symbol, the Jumpstart set symbol. So I think this is Foundations Jumpstart is that Jumpstart 2025.
Got it. Okay.
Because it's
that makes sense.
Set is J25.
Yeah.
And then it has the special guest expansion symbol.
So I wonder if the Jumpstart will be any good since Foundations is a thing. So those jump years have been pretty good historically, right? J22, etc.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because they were, like this Foundations product, gave you a bunch of core cards, and then the hot cards were almost always valuable, which made opening that product. I opened quite a bit of Jumpstarts, both the 2020 and the 22, and always made my money back. like every time. They were consistently easy to make your money back, and get a bunch of cards that are just general staples and useful, right? Which is why I liked opening it. That may have changed because it's been some months since I did that, but it was working for a great while there. The Jumpstart 25 is
I
not going to
don't.
work as well with
No.
Foundations right next to it. That's going to be in print for 5 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's a weird decision. I get why, because that's just a natural next step of something, you know. But yeah, that kind of kills Jumpstart. I don't think I'll be buying 25 this time.
No.
We'll have to see. We'll have to see what they put in there. But yeah, I'm assuming it's the same card pool because it makes like that's the point of Jumpstarts is they're the common core cards.
But they are referring it to from the Foundation's Jumpstart set, and it does have a different symbol.
Oh, so they might throw some bombs in there, some
extra cards.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. If they do like an OTJ, you know, that extra set kind of treatment where it's like pumped up a little bit, that would be good. That would make it
that aren't cards that aren't in the play or collector.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if they're in the play and collector, then there's just
forget about
too many.
Because you know that's an infinite print card basically. Every card in that set is going to be very cheap. Period. By the end of 5 years, there's no way around that. We can't keep cards above penny value within 1 year of a standard set being out. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely not going to work over 5 years.
No. But then they're also coming out with the Foundation's beginner box.
The hell is that?
The ideal way to learn the ropes of the original collectible card game. If you've ever wanted to teach someone how to play, this is the perfect place to start. Each box contains 10 packs made up of Magic the Gathering Foundations, keeping gameplay simple and fun for new players. So there are 10 themed Jumpstart packs.
So is it like a bundle but Jumpstart?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. I like that. That's a good product.
Includes 20 cards from each pack includes 20 cards from Foundation, shuffled to open play. They contain packs contain additional Foundations cards and do not contain cards from Foundations Jumpstart 2025. So that's the.
So they don't have the bombs, so that it doesn't sell out. So it can basically be a core product that's easy to get people in. That's fine.
There's reference cards, a booklet, how to play guides, game board play mats, and 2 spin down life counters.
Fine. Yeah. That's a fine product. It's not
Put
something
this
to be excited about from a collector standpoint, but onboarding standpoint, that's
onboarding. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
The question is how much it is.
It's going to be the like $40 range. That's what all the bundles are. It's like it sometimes go down to like 25 maybe. Actually, because it's a core, it might actually be lower because the core sets were always cheaper than the standard sets. So imagine it, because they're typically 40, 50 in the high end and then down to 30 as they saturate the market. With this, it's probably going to be more like 30 down to 20s.
And if that doesn't sound good, they also have the Foundation Starter Collection.
The heck is that?
Where you get 350 Magic the Gathering cards, including 22 traditional foil cards. And then you get 3 play boosters from Foundations and 95 basic lands. 10 of them are full art basic lands. Tokens, reference cards, how to build your deck booklet, and a click wheel.
A click wheel?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the life counter that goes up to 100? Okay. Interesting.
And then there's the collector boosters, of course.
Huh. Well, whatever. That sounds like they're throwing spaghetti at the wall. There's a lot of things happening there.
Yeah, and it also looks like there's no call out for serialized on the collector.
No, there wouldn't be.
But there is a less than 1% chance in boosters to get Fracture Foil Japan Showcase card. So there is a less than 1% pool, but
in the collectors,
but not serialized.
Not serialized. Okay. Well, yeah, it seems fine.
Yeah. Then your typical pre-release pack and bundles. But yeah, it does seem like the Jumpstart set is going to be a different set then. It's just with the same name, essentially.
Yeah, well, it's probably mostly core because you got to remember Jumpstart is mostly core. It's
Mhm.
just they also have the juice because
Yeah.
that's what makes those packs interesting. And ignoring the for a seller or reseller standpoint, just from a play standpoint, having a few bombs and the two you shuffle up makes it like that's where the dramatic gameplay
Yeah.
comes in.
Yeah. There's some jumpstart cards that have been popping up when I'm building commander decks for.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I sell them all the time.
Yeah.
Like I still have some from those mini boxes I opened. I
Yeah.
sell Jumpstart all the time. All the time. Something happens and suddenly a bunch of Jumpstart moves. Like every
Yeah.
time. That's why I liked it because it was just a consistently sellable set.
Probably because people didn't open it.
That's a piece of it. And then it's also they just tend to have useful cards.
Yeah.
They're basic useful cards. They're not super cards, right?
But they're
not selling
synergistic.
for $10, but yeah, they're consistently useful in a lot of different decks. That's kind of the way they built the product, which is why it's a pretty good product.
Yeah.
Not the ones that are set themed though. Just
No.
the yearly ones.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I never actually messed with any of those set versions, so I could be wrong on that. Maybe they are good for the value because I know they were dirt cheap for the longest time.
Could be.
Jumpstart Caverns. Did they do one for Caverns? I can't even remember what the last one was.
I don't know. I don't pay attention to them.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I think they stopped.
I agree. I think that stopped when they went to play.
Yeah.
Because they were cutting all sorts of stuff at that point.
Yeah.
You right? Sorcery?
Yeah. Arthurian Legends.
Arthurian Legends. Hear ye, hear ye.
October?
The box has 24 packs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, it's October. They
October
told
4th.
us that a while ago. Yeah, and they with caveat of if we miss a target, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
But they're gonna try, and it sounded like they were pretty confident, but they also wanted to leave room because
Of course, you don't.
global
Yeah.
logistics. Only their second set. Like, it's funny. One set a year, it makes it feel like they've been around forever, but they've really only done this a couple times.
Yeah.
In fact, they've
Yeah.
only really done this once before,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
so still give them a little leeway, I suppose, if you're willing, if you like sorcery. Buddy of mine, actually, Chris
Mhm.
from PAX and all that, right?
Mhm.
He was at Gen Con and picked up the exclusive sorcery, like the new sorcerer for the set.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for me. He's like, I got a gift for you. He's like, it's exclusive to Gen Con, so I figured I'd grab it for you. I was like, oh, shit, thanks. That's awesome.
Nice.
So, really appreciate that. I am really looking forward to this set. They got some cool stuff. They have a trailer out as of right now, it's at the top of TCG Player, which is pretty cool because I didn't know they had that kind of love from TCG Player.
Mm-hmm.
So you can watch the trailer. It just has the beautiful art kind of being shown. Talks about the sets like monsters and the Knights of the Round Table and that sort of thing, and then shows some of the art. Beautiful art as always. Love the style. Mortals are getting a boost, so that tribal is going to be crazy after this, and it always has been, so that's not that crazy. And there is a counter to it, which is the king, I think it is. Anyone that plays the king basically takes all mortals on the table over.
Cool.
Yeah, so be careful with your mortal tribal. You may end up getting wrecked. All your unique mortals get taken by your opponent. But yeah, it looks fun. They are doing only 24 packs, which is something we were talking about. We were worried. Well, I was worried that if they did the big box and the small set, you're going to get a lot of repeats.
Yeah.
But the smaller sets in a smaller box, so we should be okay. And hopefully they did a good job engineering the it's worth opening, feel.
Right.
My commitment to this, I don't know. There's no place I can order it yet, so I will probably get at least a case. Actually, you know what? I lied. I think I do have a case committed on Team Covenant already.
Okay.
I think I'm still subscribed to the sorcery one. It's the only thing I've held on to at their thing. Let's see. Yeah, I believe I am. Anyway, so I'm getting at least a case.
So with a case, do you expect to get most of the cards?
No, God, no. Well,
it's a smaller set.
Yeah, assuming they ratioed it the same-ish, then no, I would assume not.
Okay.
Because Eric's Curioso, one thing they love to do is special shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? which
true.
fills in slots and ends up making it a lot harder to get the things. And then you have the foils, which are always super rare, and I don't think they're changing that for Arthurian Legends at all. And then what else are we talking about with this set? Yeah, I am subscribed, so I will be getting a case plus their promo. But beyond the case, I don't know that I'll do much more. A couple boxes maybe, if I really like the opening experience. Then maybe singles, or maybe just play with what I got. You know what it really boils down to? If my sorcery buddy wants to start again, right? If there's someone to play with, basically, and or our other buddy Francis is up for it, because I know he's excited for it too. So
I mean, I'll play it.
yeah, you say that, and then you just like kind of half it.
No,
you'd rather play something else.
The offer is out there, but I will play it.
Yeah, I've had it the whole time. Could have brought it any time I've come over.
You didn't suggest it. You didn't. You were like, "Hey, do you want to play some Winston?" And I was like, "Yeah."
And to be fair, no. That's the other way. You said, let's play Winston of the set I was obsessively drafting, to which I said, not the set you've been obsessively drafting, but yes, I'll play. Because frankly, for me, I don't care. Yeah. Like, I'm down to play any game. You tell me, hey, we're going to play some board games? I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah.
Say, hey, we're going to play some card games? I'm there. Like, I really don't care. There's a few exceptions, like places where I know I'm just out match completely, like Star Wars, for example. I don't
we don't play those.
Like, it's like, that's not fun.
No.
You're not going to have fun, and I'm not going to have fun, because you're just going to wreck me, and I'm going to say, what the hell just happened?
Yes.
And so that's not fun. But yeah, I'm pretty much always down. That's why I don't like push sorcery. I don't really. It's fine. Like, I like to play it, and I'll play it if people want to play it. If no one wants to play it, then I won't have a need for a lot of cards. I'll still get some, but
yeah. Next time, bring decks, and we will play it.
I got them. They were ready to travel at any moment, because I was doing it every week for a while. So you get like 4 or 5 decks too. So there's plenty of choices, and they're fun against each other, and
nice.
They're pretty good. They're not like meta strong or anything. They're just kind of like middle range derpy kind of decks, but they have their synergies, and the way the game plays, it's so like arbitrary a little bit, you know, like there's a lot of randomness to what you pull because of the way the rarities work and what you can put in a deck and all that stuff. So you can play the same deck again and again, and it's going to feel different every time, you know. I think it takes about 10 plays on a given deck before you have a sense of the deck itself and like what actually it can do at minimum. So, which is what I like. I like that it's replayable that way. This is a game I don't feel like I need to make new decks all the time.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that's how it's with once a year. There's not supposed to.
Yeah, that's
you can
exactly the goal, and why I am happily engaged with this game and will continue to be. Assuming I can keep finding people to play with, I will continue to get it. So yeah, exciting. Looking forward to it. I'm very curious how bonkers mortals are going to be after this, and also how long until the actual set that's supposed to be coming.
Oh, so this isn't the one set a year?
No, this is the supplemental. Yeah, I don't think the actual set's going to hit this year, though.
Yeah,
because of
that that's why
there was some discussion around this. Like, originally there was supposed to be the full set and this year.
Yeah,
and I think what ended up happening is the artists. So interestingly, if you support artists, this is the game for you. And the reason why is because they literally give the commissions to the artists, and then they build the product when the art's done.
Yeah.
So in some cases, it's like, that's they're painting already for like 2 sets from now, but it's one of those things where it's like, if it doesn't get done in time, then we'll do a different set first. Like that's how they're doing it. And you know, Eric is 100% passionately committed to that. They're not trying to push products faster. They don't really care about that part. So it's like, when the art is done, then we use that to help build the rules and all this other stuff. Like, that's how they're building. They're building from art inspiration first.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of cool. A little crazy for a game in this modern day and age to see if that will actually work. But it definitely makes the game feel like the visual. That's the one thing that comes of it. That's, you know, and so for people like me who's like, the theme is so much more fun than mechanics, rules, sharking, whatever, all this nonsense. Like, I don't care. I don't care how, like, I'm from the old school where it's like you have a fight with your friend over what the rule is. You roll fucking dice. Whoever wins the roll gets the decision, right? Like, that's, you just move on with life, because before the internet,
it's just
there was no way to arbitrate these decisions. You just had to live with something and move forward. And, you know, which means theme and playing on like a idea or concept is way more interesting at that point, because you don't have a way to figure out the answer. So with this art-driven kind of game design, you can look at a card and know what it does, you know, because they built it that way. That's how the game is written. It's not about how does this fit into the rules structure. It's about what makes this feel inspiring. It's also why you end up with these narratives at the end of a game about what happened.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
It's a visual thing. The mechanics match it, and it creates an epic experience as people interact with these weird things that are happening. That's also why I was very much against the competitive circuit, but I'm glad people are taking it there. It's fine. If you want to make it competitive, make it competitive. It just will kill some of that part of it, because people are going to try to like maximize these like little nuances of mechanics.
Yeah.
Which I think is why they made some of the rule changes after that last tournament. Or I guess it's not the last one, a couple of them ago now. But it's fine.
Yeah. No, I'm
competition for the competitive people.
I'm a sucker for theme.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole thing here.
Yeah.
Like, you want some frogs, you got a frog army. Do it.
Yeah, like Bloomburrow.
Yeah, except one thing that gets Bloomburrow, you know, kind of the pluses in the market, right, is that it is theme, and like a kid can pick up the idea, right? Like, it's a story in their imagination, right? That is why I think this one's a popular set and has so much hype, because it really has that imagination driving thing. Whereas think about how many sets of Magic, like, the art didn't matter at all, the theme didn't matter at all. It was more about like the power of the cards or the color combinations, or, you know, very specific things, but not necessarily like what the art was trying to say. I mean, in a lot of ways, most Magic sets don't even have a thematic structure that holds well artistically. So I think Outlaws is probably a good example of that. Yes, there's Cowboys, but man, was that all over the place with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know? On the opposite end of that scale, though, Phyrexia and I think Neon are both good examples of strong theme. You know?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Phyrexia, so it's like they do both ways, which is fine. It's just a lot of it's like, I don't know. I guess they're weak on lore, and everyone knows that with Magic. Always has been.
Yeah.
It's like, what is Theros? Is that Zendikar?
And sometimes the direction they pick is just not cared about, like murders.
Oh, yeah. Strong theme.
Strong theme.
That no one really wanted to play Clue.
Yeah.
They would have played Clue if they wanted to play Clue. They didn't want to play Magic Clue. Yeah. Fair. Good point.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all I have for sorcery.
Cool. Star Wars wise, I wasn't able to make it to the shop this week because I was taking care of a sick kitty.
No.
But he is making small improvements, so thoughts and prayers for Quinn. He's a little under the weather.
Yeah.
But we're taking care of him. He's the priority, so that's why I'm a little not focused on the market right now, but I am focused on... I have sat on the couch next to him and drafted a lot of Bloomburrow, so that's why we talked about it.
Aha!
I just pulled my laptop up, sat next to him, and just drafted away. But yeah, with Star Wars, we had a small reprint in stores getting set 1 boxes, which is good. Bringing the boxes slightly closer to MSRP, which, I mean, it's only been, 4 months since it came out? So, I mean, where it was at was silly.
Yeah, of course.
And a lot of those cards are very important for organized play. So having those cards be a little more affordable makes the game more appealing to new players, because we have been getting new players that are sticking around.
Good. That's awesome.
Like, we're back up. Like, after, I know we were talking how we had low player count towards the end of set 1. Yeah. We're back to full strength, if not higher than when we were.
It's kind of perfect. I'm hoping. We'll see. The timing of the set 1 like new wave or whatever, right? Which is supposed to fall, right? They said
November.
Yeah. So with that, the holiday season, right? Think about how many people are opening this box as a Christmas gift.
Yep.
Right. And maybe not that box, but maybe the latest box. But then, of course, they want
And
that
the new
first box.
box,
You know what I mean?
The new box is Clone Wars, so.
Oh, such a freaking grab. Yeah.
And we have spoilers for it, too.
I saw that. I saw them coming out. I was like, already? Did they just release that?
Yeah. Well, Gen Con.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, so Clone Wars, that's hype. A lot of people, that's a strong emotional attachment. This box coming out again in full release of box 1 in November, having supply will be great for limited, will be great for new entrants that come on the Clone Wars release.
And we got 3 new sets shown off, the next 3 sets shown off.
Yeah.
Just the names.
And the prices are going to go down too. I would assume, just because they'll have supply. And that's one thing that we were just talking about. It's like, we've talked about this, but it's more on display with this. You know, the prices dropped a little bit on set 1, and it's probably going to drop down to MSRP over fall when they do the new wave.
I'd say so.
And it's called Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah.
Like, there's no promise anywhere that these boxes will not be reprinted.
No.
Never has been.
No.
I have a feeling they're going to keep getting them out there as long as people are buying them.
Yep.
You know, probably not infinitely, obviously, but you know, I would not be surprised if set 1, being so core, is printed a lot more.
Oh, absolutely.
The course of the next couple of years.
Absolutely.
And the other ones are kind of flavor.
They're I'm excited for them to get to the point where there's enough boxes on the shelf that I can draft.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone's been waiting for that, right?
Yeah. There are some stores that draft, my store doesn't, and I've been too lazy to explore other stores.
Well, there's that too.
But
can't blame the stores if it's your fault.
But they only drafted for like a month after the first release, and then they haven't kicked it back up.
That's fair.
But yeah, we got 2 new heroes shown off from the next set. Ashoka Tano with a new keyword called Coordinate. It comes out on 5. It's aggression heroism, and an action attack with a unit. It gets +1 for this attack, but because it's Coordinate, you gain this ability. So you don't have this. It's not an inherent ability that you always have. You have to control 3 or more units.
Okay. Critter spam synergy.
And Red White is good at that. She's a Force Jedi Republic for her traits, and she has Coordinate as a unit as well to get +2 attack, but she's a 3/6, so kind of, I don't know, okay, I guess. And then we got General Grievous, which is yellow-black, so you got to think, all right, I'm in the same colors as Boba. Am I just going to play Boba? Action, give a droid unit Sentinel for this phase. And it comes out at 6 as a 4/8, and you may give a droid +1 and Sentinel for the phase when you attack. So you're Grievous, and you're just getting a bunch of droids.
Hello there.
Yep. And they showed off some, what is it? They showed off some of the Game Genic.
What is that? The cases or whatever? The little
like play mats and stuff like
boxes. That. Okay.
And let's see. Nope, that's not it.
You lost it.
I lost it.
It's gone.
There was a bunch of stuff that now I can't find. Dang it. But one of the arts was, one of the deck boxes was Obi-Wan. So we're getting an Obi-Wan leader, which has me very excited.
Hello there.
Exactly. That's what triggered it. But yeah, I'm very excited for set 3. Don't get me wrong, any of the negativity that I'm talking about is more towards like collector of Star Wars. Player-wise, I'm all in. I'm all good.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be letting go of some of my collector stuff.
Well, and I think with it being unlimited, with it being Asmodee, with it being all these things, right? Like, it's pretty much signaled from the get-go that this is not a collector-driven game. It never really tried to be. It has collectors by nature because it is Star Wars.
The ratios of stuff being pulled is collector level, but
not on infinite reprints.
Right,
That
exactly,
ratio goes away very quickly when you realize that there's no promise of new boxes not coming out, right? They never said anything about any of that. So it's like, yeah. And I think honestly, ultimately, assuming there's some value in set 2 and set 3 on the collector side, they'll probably end up being the rarer ones. Cause like what I'm thinking back to is like WTR versus ARC.
Yeah.
How many more boxes of WTR are there than ARC, right? And so I think that first set, they're going to keep it going because it's your base entry level product, you know, until they do, like, eventually they'll branch out and have entry level, you know, I don't know, whatever the equivalent of an armory deck is, right? Or they'll do a core set 2, maybe in year 3, which will be similar to that first box, but, you know, a new printing of it when that's kind of no longer worth printing, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my suspicion. Because I see no reason for them not to print that first set again after this wave. They are a game card printer.
Yeah,
they've done it before.
They should.
Like, this is what they have done with every other card game they've run. This is where people were worried about them as a card game maker, because they make card games that are games. They don't do the collecting side. They've never in the past really done much of that.
No, this is their first, like, true try at it.
Yeah. And I think they're doing a pretty good job. I mean, print run fuck ups aside. Like,
sure.
You know, the demand was way higher than they expected because they've done other games that did not get that much traction. This got a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like,
they went based on previous things, and
and they're doing all right with it, and they're correcting where they've screwed up. It's a little slower than I would want, but you know.
Yeah. And I mean, these are only critiques on the market. The game itself is a ton of fun.
Like, it seems to have a lot of love.
Yeah. So a lot of people are showing up. A lot of people are playing.
A lot of stores are running it.
The adoption rate of stores is huge.
Well, and that's why I don't think they will be shy about reprinting.
Oh yeah, because they have a waiting list of stores that want to.
Yeah, it's like there's stores that have been held off because they supported the stores that supported them, right? Which we've talked about back and forth, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
And then sold on Amazon. Yep.
Well, they were trying to get the boxes out. Again, there's arguments on all sides.
I know.
But going forward, right? Like, why would they not print excessively to help all those stores that they couldn't help before, to sell on Amazon more, to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not a company that's like, we're shy about printing boxes, right?
No.
And so
and for a long time, they're going to be able to sell to stores, and the stores are going to be able to sell at MSRP for a while.
And the more it's able to expand the player base, the more traction it will get, and it can lead to a very virtuous cycle of growth. But again, the downside to that is it's a game piece game, right? It's not a collector's game for the most part. Few exceptions, obviously, key characters and stuff. Your Vaders and your Leias and stuff. Like, everyone's going to freaking want that. Yeah, exactly. In the hyperfoil super rare version, right? Those will always hold some value. But yeah, it's like get ready, because it feels like this thing's moving now. We'll see though. I could be wrong.
Yeah. No, I'm excited to get there on Tuesday, and I reworked my buddy of mine's gonna borrow my Han deck, and I reworked my Kylo deck. And it's just going to be aggro real fast. I've been playing on Carablast, and it's been a lot of fun. Game ends by like turn 4 or 5.
That's gross.
Yeah.
That's like before most people get their commander out.
Correct. That's the whole point.
That's just gross.
But yeah, overall, some exciting stuff happening for what's typically a slower time of the year.
Oh, well, we're just now in August. August is the
Yeah.
slowest time, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
I hate August. You know, it's funny. I don't actually hate August. It's just August work is slow for me. August, there's almost no new shows, right? None of the hype nerd stuff happens in August. They have the whole break because of the rewards and everything, you
And then
know?
it all hits in September.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and then I can't keep up with it. And it's like, give me some August stuff.
Yeah.
And I get it because most people go on vacation and stuff. And I'm not going on vacation this year. So it's super annoying. I have no distractions. I'm just sitting here twiddling my thumbs, taking care of sick cat.
Yeah, that's me.
I know
And
you got
yeah,
the same issue.
yeah,
It's kind of crazy.
And August is the busiest month for me. So
Oh yeah, you get slammed.
work is getting slammed. So that's okay. It's okay. I'll catch up on things in September.
Man, oh man. I wish I liked this style of card game because it definitely. I'm looking at the 7th Fleet Defender and I'm just like, pew, 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 pew.
Yep.
Like immediately get the feel of Star Wars, and I'm like, ah. I just watched the first of the newer ones with Rey or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was such a good Star Wars. I know people didn't like the 3, and
They're
I can agree
fine.
with the second and third one. Where they changed directors and everything. Like I
Mhm.
get it. Like there's totally legitimate complaints, but that first one was such a great restart.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of wish they just deleted the other 2 and redid because they are apparently or something.
Oh.
I thought I heard they're redoing them. Did you hear that?
No.
Oh yeah, from what I heard, there was some discussion over redoing that trilogy, but then I saw a preview. I think it's for 2025 or 26 maybe, where Rey is back, and it's later. I think it's like where she's making the Gray Jedi or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's the premise of it, and it's just like a quick preview. It's probably at like a Comic-Con or something. You know, they do this.
Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con just happened.
Yeah, so they so now I'm like, are they actually redoing it or what's the story? And they're obviously keeping Rey around if they're doing another trilogy with.
I hope so. I like Rey's character.
I do too. I think Rey's a great character. It was a lot of fun.
He's pretty good after in Star Wars Unlimited.
Yeah, The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens again. I was just like, oh, this is such a fun like Star Wars movie. Like I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I also did not start the second one of that series. So it does say something.
Well, in what else is that September or October? I think it's October.
What's that?
Star Wars comics are rebooting.
Oh.
So if you're interested in jumping on, I think it's October, but they're picking up after Episode 6. So after the original trilogy, what happened right after?
Mm-hmm.
That's what the comics are going to be.
So it'll be Rise of the First Order and all that stuff.
Like directly after the movie 6. After Return of the Jedi.
That's when the First Order begins.
Yeah.
It's not. Yeah. So it'll be them working in the shadows and all that stuff as the Empire collapses.
It'll be very slow and
It's
comics.
What's the rebellion? What is it called after that? New Republic or something?
New Republic, yeah.
Yeah, after the New Republic's kind of failed bureaucracies and all this stuff where the corruption kind of gets out of control. We've had like, is it shows and movies of that time period? Is it, I'm trying to think what the content was. There was another thing that was that period. Maybe it was a video game. I can't remember, but there's a whole period of that where it's like, it shows the corruption of the Republic kind of failing at taking over the galaxy and the fall of the Empire, and people being kind of upset about it because they're like, at least things worked when the Empire ruled, right? Like, yeah, sure, there was murder, but we didn't have to deal with it in these these core planets, Yeah. So it shows how like that starts to pull at the edges of things. Now, I think it was a show. I don't remember what the show was, but I'm pretty sure it was a show. Anyways.
Yeah, it ends in the final issue of this run is September 18th with Star Wars and Vader issue 50 each. Sorry, it goes on sale September 11th. And Star Wars on the 11th, Vader on the 18th. And then in October, the new stuff will start. Which I'm very excited about. But I'm going to have to wait a bit longer because I've been reading on Star Wars Unlimited. But I have some stuff to catch up on still, so that's fine.
Cool. I guess my thing that I'd heard was wait. Yeah. No,
Was it
there's
AI?
definitely. I don't know. There's videos about it. I don't know if that's real though. And then people arguing about it, obviously.
Of course.
I swear it was a real thing, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let me know if you know in the comments.
Cool. Well, cool. Anything else before we call it a podcast?
Nope.
Cool. Well, if you made it to the end of the podcast, hashtag call it a podcast.
Call it a podcast.
So
sounds good.
Until next week, we'll catch you guys later.
Have a good one.